CTV News at 5 with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Police in Sault Ste. Marie are looking for a man wanted in connection to a robbery at Canadian Tire on McNabb Street.
2025, an unknown male was at Canadian Tire. The male was observed by store security concealing 2 items valued at $90.
When security confronted the man, police say he pulled out a needle to threaten staff with and fled the store. Police are asking anyone with information to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Time for your first check on weather. For more details, we go to CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, I spent the weekend cleaning out the garage to get the car in before the snow flies. I'm betting I'm running out of time.
You are in some circles, and you know what? Get them on right now while you can and avoid the rush. That's what a lot of people are doing. By the way, I'm still up and I'm watching your 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock news, Ian. Nothing wrong with that. Systems map, courtesy of CAA. Get your membership today at getcaa.ca. We've got some precipitation moving into northeastern Ontario. We'll have some details on that. Not as bad as you think. It will start to get a bit milder by about Wednesday and continue right through for a couple of days. Details, 5-day forecast, Ian, coming at you.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Rick. Well, every year, Ontario's Living Wage Network calculates a new living wage based on current costs of essentials such as food, housing, transportation, and childcare. Today, organizations in Sudbury came together to discuss the local context of affordability, the impact of rising costs, and how living wage employers are leading the way. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
The living wage in Northern Ontario rose 80 cents from $20.30 in 2024 to $21.10 in 2025. That's $3.50 more than minimum wage in the province.
You're going to be earning $122.50 less than what you need every week in order to cover your rent, cover your bills, and, enjoy some food. And that gap is largely driven by the cost of rent. And then one of the other driving factors in the north is the additional cost of transportation.
The Advocacy Centre, along with officials from Public Health, the United Way, and the Sudbury and District Labour Council, presented the numbers and what they mean for the community at City Hall on Monday.
If you don't have enough income, you're not able to pay for some of the basic necessities of life. More difficult to pay for shelter, which protects you from elements. More difficult to pay for food, which is important to nourish your body and give it the nutrients to be healthy. More difficult to pay for things like education to give you the advancement and fulfillment in life.
Charity is not going to be able to solve all of our problems around poverty in our community. So coming together and really discussing that livable wage for individuals to be able to access is that first step of sustainable change within our community.
Florence says the call to action is to make everyone aware that the Ontario Living Wage Network exists and that employers can be a part of it.
We know that when an employer is a decent work employer, when they pay a living wage, when they treat their employees well, employee morale increases. When you've got happier workers, they are more productive.
We have chosen the Public Health Sudbury Districts to be a living wage employer. It was difficult to make that work in our budget. We've put that as a priority, and I encourage all employers out in the region to do that as well. If we can all choose to do this, we can all be acting collectively to raise the health of people in our community.
Public Health has been paying employees a living wage since 2019. According to the network, there are 639 certified living wage employers in the province. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities says it's welcoming the commitments it says it saw as part of Ontario's fall economic statement, which was delivered at Queen's Park last week. Among some of the highlights, FNOM says it's encouraged by the province's commitment to balance the books by 2027-2028. The organization says it's also encouraged to hear about the pilot project to bring ride-sharing services to communities along the Northlander corridor. There's also the improvements and funds being made available to the Connecting Links program.
OPP costing is, or 11% rather, is still too high, and I think there's some work to be done there. But hey, listen, we can't expect everything overnight, and we continue to have dialogue with the province on these issues and make sure that they hear what we have to say.
Plord says they'll continue to advocate on Northern issues, including the effects of tariffs on local economies, and they're optimistic about what the future holds. Well, time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Rick has your full weather forecast. Also ahead, preparations are being made for Remembrance Day tomorrow. Some got an early start. We'll have that coming up.
We will never forget your bravery, your strength, your sacrifice.
The very best and bravest of our nation, these heroic souls stood on guard for freedom.
Join the CTV News team and me as Canada comes together to remember.
Remembrance Day 2025, Tuesday morning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on CTV.
You know, it was just last week when I was talking about the temperatures and people were telling me, well, Rick, it's kind of cold outside. And I'm saying, no, it was just cool. It's typical November. Last night was cold. How cold was it? My dog didn't want to go for a walk after supper. That's how cold it was. This is what we've got going for a 5-day forecast right now. Take a look at some of the conditions. We've got Remembrance Day tomorrow, mainly cloudy skies in Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt. Chance of sleet for a couple of days, 4 and 3 your daytime highs. 1 on Friday and 2 on Saturday, so it does perk up a bit by about midweek, but you've got the chance of sleet in the forecast. How about Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma? Remembrance Day for tomorrow, chance of flurries. Wednesday, chance of sleet. Thursday, chance of sleet at 5 degrees in the Sault and Algoma. 4 and even 6 degrees, 6 by Saturday. So 4 with the sunshine Friday, 6 with the cloud cover on Saturday. How about Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing? We've got the chance of flurries at 30%, chance of flurries at 40% for Wednesday, Thursday, your highs 2 and 1. Chance of flurries on Friday as well at 0, -9 overnight. And Saturday, some cloud cover with a high of +1. Bit of a variation in that forecast. More of the same, however, in Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, almost an identical forecast to the one in Timmins. You've got the chance of flurries Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 1, 2, back to 1. Friday, chance of flurries at 40%, -1. And for Saturday, some cloud cover, a high of only +1, -9, -7, the overnight lows Thursday and Friday. Kind of cool. Getting on the verge of getting cold, especially as we approach mid-November. North Bay, West Nipissing, Remembrance Day for tomorrow, chance of flurries, the odd sunny break, and a high of 1. Chance of sleet for one day, Wednesday, 3 degrees your high on Wednesday, of course. Thursday, chance of flurries, and again on Friday, 2 and +1 your daytime highs, and Saturday, some cloud cover, again with a high of +1. No severity in the cold weather as we know it. I mean, the weekend was just a hint on Saturday and, of course, yesterday and last night. But, you know, it's slowly approaching northeastern Ontario. Ian, I certainly hope your furnace is working. You'll need it. Back to you.
It will be. Thanks, Rick. Well, communities across the country are preparing for Remembrance Day ceremonies tomorrow. The 49th Sault Ste. Marie Field Regiment will be conducting a gun salute using their C3 howitzers. The regiment will be firing blank rounds as part of Remembrance Day ceremonies in Sault Ste. Marie and Richards Landing between 10:30 and 11 a.m. before the moment of silence. In North Bay, dozens of students and members of the public joined veterans and dignitaries braving the cold winds at the East Ferris Cenotaph for a Remembrance Day ceremony ahead of November 11th. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
The sound of the drum drowns out the wind. The wreaths laid, heads bowed, appreciation expressed in silence. East Ferris's Remembrance Day ceremony showed a sign of courtesy and gratefulness.
You're seeing more and more come out to these celebrations of what we have today for those who gave their lives.
In Flanders Fields.
Students from École St. Thomas d'Aquin were in attendance and participated in the ceremony. Leading up to Remembrance Day, students are studying about both world wars and the sacrifices made.
We read a few articles. We're reading about the trenches. I have a friend whose mom is one of the captains, and I really wanted to join the Army, so I decided to start with this.
Clark's and other veterans' heart fill with joy, seeing more people every year come out to the cenotaph.
That means the world to them, because then they know that they're being backed by their fellow Canadians.
East Ferris Mayor Rick Champagne is paying tribute to his father-in-law, who was part of the Normandy landings.
He was a master mechanic, and he was there on the front lines. And to remember everybody also at the same time, remember all the people from our municipality that have been involved.
East Ferris always holds its Remembrance Day ceremony a day or two before November 11th, so Legion members, veterans, and dignitaries can attend other ceremonies that day. The municipality doesn't want to conflict with their schedules.
Our cenotaph is second to none, and we've done a lot of work here, and the volunteers have done a lot of work here through Veterans Affairs and the Knights of Columbus and all the volunteers.
As all of Canada looks toward a somber day of reflection tomorrow, the students put it best.
The least we can do is, remember them for at least one day of the year.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, East Ferris.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, Timmins is busy getting ready for a big guy in red and his arrival. Plus, we'll have your hockey roundup with how your favorite teams did around the region this past weekend. Sault Ste. Marie's Heart Hub opened its doors last month in what officials are calling a soft lunch to ease staff and visitors into the new changes. Local officials had to wait nearly 9 months to receive the funding letter from the province for the Homeless and Addiction Recovery Treatment Hub. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
An October 1st opening for the Sault's Heart Hub came in silence as officials looked to help staff adjust to a new service model. The Canadian Mental Health Association only received funding for the Heart Hub on September 15th, almost 9 months since the province announced the Sault would be among the cities receiving the homelessness and addiction support. Though the hub has only recently opened, it's had its successes, say officials.
We've seen about 200 individuals accessing supports on any given week, and just since October 1st, over 1,000 service interactions.
The services offered at the Heart Hub are very similar to what was available months ago, but now staff aren't being pulled from their regular duties at other local social agencies.
When we can shift from in-kind supports that we've scrabbled together in good faith together into funded positions and investments, it's going to allow us to take the existing services and enhance them and expand them.
The Community Resource Center that houses the Heart Hub also currently houses the city's men's shelter. That shelter is set to move eventually, and the added space will be used to expand the number of transitional supportive housing units on site that now sits at 22.
We could get to an additional 8, so a total of 30. As I understand it, that was our original thinking. And then across the community, we're looking to add additional units as well. So I think the number that we are planning for is about 60 that we're able to make happen within the investment with the Heart Hub.
The CMHA still has plans to eventually offer services like detox and psychotherapy here at the Heart Hub. Kay says they are currently training and recruiting staff in order to expand their scope of work. She expects some of that training will be complete in the next few weeks. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Major news for healthcare within the city of Timmins. The permanent home for Centre de Santé Communautaire de Timmins officially opened Friday. Dignitaries including the mayor and MPP George Perry were among those on hand over the lunch hour for a ribbon cutting. The health center is now taking applications for membership. Details can be found on its website and social media. Santa Claus is checking up on Timmins this weekend. He'll be the guest of honor at the annual Timmins Santa Claus Parade taking place downtown. It's one of the city's largest free community events, attracting thousands. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
Timmins High and Vocational School is a loyal participant in the annual Santa Claus Parade, and this year is no different. Students began work on their float a month ago.
So right now we're making the THVS signs, and I'm just positioning it on the float here.
This year's theme is lights, music, and magic.
We're doing a giant elf on the shelf puppet. So You can see it's not quite done, but it's going to be sitting on a fireplace, and it's going to be animated.
Downtown Timmins says this is the 36th parade, and a record-breaking number of floats will cruise their way through the heart of the city this Saturday, starting at 6 p.m.
They're going to have marching troops, dancing troops, music troops. This year we have 67 registered floats, which is another record. Last year we had 66, so we've grown yet again. It's going to be a little over a mile and a half, probably about 2.5 hours from start to finish.
Robin, who is the parade marshal this year, says he has a number of favorite locations to watch the parade go by, but he says the hot spot is in front of the CIBC Bank.
It's quite popular. It's early in the parade, and everybody goes by there nice and slow because they got to make that corner. But I see good popular spots in front of the transit, and down near the end, it's a little bit more spread out, and you have that corner in front of Osaka's. That's really good for a big crowd of people.
The Santa Claus Parade is one of the biggest free community events in Timmins and is well loved, with anywhere from 9,000 to 10,000 spectators who come to see the 1,000 people who are in it. About a dozen prizes are awarded to groups that go above and beyond with decorating their floats.
I don't think we're really in it for the prize. Most floats do get a prize, so it doesn't matter to us. It's just the build and demonstrating to the community what we can do in our shop class.
Santa's visit to Timmins this Saturday is also a chance to mail out letters to Santa, donate socks, or provide food donations for the South Porcupine Food Bank. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
And as Lydia mentioned, the Timmins Santa Claus Parade is this Saturday at 6 p.m. North Bay's parade will be this Sunday at noon. Sudbury and the Sioux will have their parades next weekend on November 22nd. Sault Ste. Marie's parade will start at 5, while the Sudbury parade starts at 5:30. Santa's going to be busy. It's time for our weekend hockey wrap-up. Let's start over in the OHL, where the Sioux Greyhounds were facing off against a dominant Guelph Storm Friday night.
Zielinski now over the red line. Here's a chance for McKenzie, and alone he scores.
Quentin McKenzie getting the Sioux on the board here and tying things up in the first few minutes of the second. You can see the Hounds there in their Poppy Remembrance Day jerseys, raising money for the local Legion. Jerry Martin would also find the back of the net before the end of the game, but it wouldn't be enough. The Guelph Storm win 4-2 over the Hounds. The Wolves had a hard night Friday night as the Barrie Colts ride away with a 6-3 victory. The North Bay Battalion took a beating Friday with the Flint Firebirds winning 9-3 Saturday. Things were looking up for the Northern teams. The troops scored 5 unanswered goals in the third period, taking down the Saginaw Spirit 7-1 on the road. The Greyhounds hosted the Barrie Colts, who took an early lead. The Greyhounds would come back, tie things up. This one goes to a shootout. Hounds win 4-3. Sunday, the Sudbury Wolves would find themselves in a similar situation. They fought back against a 4-goal deficit, but just could get the extra marker. They fall to the Peterborough Petes 5-4. North Bay would manage to tie up their games against Sarnia Sting. The troops get stung in overtime, losing 6-5. In the NOJHL, a quick look at the standings this week shows the Hearst Lumberjacks maintaining their lead atop the league as of this morning. They are 16th in the national CJHL standings. The Sioux Eagles still pushing up their way through the standings. They picked up 2 wins over the weekend to keep them ahead of the Blind River Beavers. And that's it. When we return, we'll take a look at your community close up. You're watching First at 5.
It's going to be one of the biggest nights in the music industry. The Grammy Awards and the nominations have just dropped. We're seeing some big names, not only in country music, but across music in general. Some of the highlights like Bad Bunny, Justin Bieber, and Sabrina Carpenter getting those nominations. But when we look to country specifically, it's going to be real interesting because this is the first year that we see 2 different streams of country music having award categories: contemporary country, but also traditional country. And man, the fans have some reactions to this one. When you see the contemporary country stream, yeah, album of the year, you're seeing Kelsey Ballerini, Tyler Childers, you're seeing Eric Church, you're seeing Jelly Roll, and Miranda Lambert all duking it out for album of the year. A lot of fans had some questions why artists like Miranda Lambert were slotted into that contemporary country category, but yet here we are. Traditional Country Album of the Year. We're seeing artists like Charlie Crockett, Lucas Nelson, Willie Nelson. How about Margot Price and Zach Top, an artist that we hear right here on Pure Country. Yeah, all up for Album of the Year. But one of the most notable highlights of those country nominations, a lot of fans absolutely stumped the fact that the big names, Morgan Wallen, how about Luke Combs, Megan Moroney, none of them have nominations for this year's Grammys. So who's going to come out on top in these major categories? We're going to keep an eye out and we're going to feed you all those highlights. Remember, they go down February 1st in LA for the Grammy Awards. If you want to keep up to date with that news and more, make sure you're listening Pure Country 91.7 on the dial or on the completely free iHeartRadio app.
Time now for a look at your community close-up. For that, we begin in Gogama, or at least near Gogama. Melanie Rondo came across this cutie last week who was looking for food. Just incredible the amount of wildlife we live with, especially those of us between the watershed and Gogama. Always love doing that drive. Thanks for sharing, Melanie. Mitchell Rogers sent us this submission of his dog, Ellie. She's a goose-chasing dog at Osprey Links Golf Course. According to Mitchell, Ellie is a member favorite and spends her days chasing geese, walking with members while they play golf and helping out the mechanic daily. I can see why she's a favorite. Good girl, Ellie. Some parts of our region have been seeing or dealing with snow as of late. Not where I live, but it looks like Gail Miller from Timmins spent her weekend with the white stuff. She was out hunting partridge on Kenogamissi Falls Road. Excuse me about that. Looks beautiful, though. Hope you enjoyed your time outdoors. Well, finally, the holidays can be a difficult time for members of the 2S LGBTQI community. As a result, PFLAG in Sault Ste. Marie is organizing its third annual Home for the Holidays event. The dinner, which began in the Soo, is now being celebrated in several cities across the country. Funds raised from the event will go to activities organized by PFLAG, including peer-to-peer support for those in Algoma. It includes a turkey dinner, dessert, music, dancing, and entertainment.
It's warm, it's welcoming, it's good vibes, and it's just a great time for those people to come together. So really, if you're just looking to have a great time and a great dinner with people who are welcoming, supportive, and just in a good spirit, then this is definitely the night for you.
Tickets are available now. More information can be found on PFLAG's social media and its website. What a fantastic event. It's great to make sure no one goes alone during the holidays. And who doesn't like turkey? There's more news for the North coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.